Where my girls at? Where my girls at? Independent, free spirit. Ooh, it's something serious. Where my girls at? We link up in a cool minute. Where my girls at? It's going down, down. Where my girls at? It's going down, down. It's going down tonight. We going out tonight. Yeah, right. We going out tonight. It's going down tonight. Yeah, right. It's going down tonight. We going out tonight. Yeah, right. We going out tonight. It's going down tonight. Yeah, right.
Where my girls at? It's going down. It's going down. It's going down. Yes, yes. Get the applause going. It's the force of friendship, the force of friendship. And here we are today. It is exciting because this is Wisdom Wednesday. We got some wisdom for you today for sure. The force of friendship is so excited to be with you guys. If you're with us online, we're excited. If you're calling in, we're excited. If you're on the radio with us, we're excited. If you're in the United States, we're excited. If you're around the world, we're excited. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I'm so glad that you stopped and clued into us today. My name is Gloria Mayfield Banks. I'm here in the DMV. A little bit of Baltimore, a little bit of Washington, D.C. I'm so excited to be with you guys today. Today, we are going to learn some good stuff after we go over the news. We're going to learn some good stuff. I don't know about you, but when your data or your background information or your social security number or if any of your privacy is taken, it is not a good thing. So we're going to get some information. So if you have a girlfriend who needs to be informed about what is going on, grab her right now and tell her to join the tribe of the force of friendship right here on 9:10 a.m. the Superstation, WFDF out of Detroit. You guys, seriously, it has been an interesting time here in the Baltimore when it comes to weather, because that storm that hit Haiti really hard and then came up through Georgia and came up through the North Carolinas, and now it's here in Maryland. I mean, it rains like every 2 minutes, like a torrential rain, and then poof, beautiful. And then torrential rain, and then poof, beautiful. And then torrential rain. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. But they said on Friday, we're going to see the sun. Like it's Wednesday. They said on Friday. So you know what that took? That took an attitude check. Boy, don't be upset. Don't be upset. There's people in the world that have it way worse off than you. Just deal with the clouds. It's okay. The sun is going to rise in the morning. It's just going to rise the morning after the morning after the morning. That's when it's going to rise. So I'm so excited to be with you guys today. And do not get it twisted. Do not get it twisted. I'm asking you guys to call in because you might have a comment. You might have known somebody that this has happened to. Call us at 313-778-7600. And I know that if you've been listening to us for a while, you have it in your memory just like we have it in our memory. Call in 313-778-7600 because you'll be calling into We Got Issues. You got issues. We got issues. We all got issues. So let's go to the girlfriends and see what's going on. You know, I like to go from the East Coast all the way out there to the West Coast, going to my girl, Katrina Harris Earl, the only one that's got a rhyme in her name. Katrina, what's happening out there? What's happening out there with this pretty background?
It's a lot happening that is specifically happening in California. Okay.
Right.
We could keep on talking about Texas governor, but I have, for the Facebook audience can see my I voted sign because they are trying to recall my governor. And y'all know my best guy friend. You know Dwayne, my best guy friend. Gloria, and you know he got married at Gavin's both of his wineries. The wedding was at one winery and the after party was at the reception was at the other winery. They are all up in there. So yesterday I got some inside scoop. But I'm telling you, it's very interesting. So this recall election, which is crazy, you know, I mean, certain things that you recall is like impeachment. In California,
Right.
it's happened
Right.
a lot up in here. So there are certain things you can disagree with and you vote the person out. But this recall is just so interesting. And so the other side of the ballot has like 30 people on there. So I was like, what am I supposed to do? So you first vote, do you want to recall or not recall? And if he's recalled, who do you take him in? Well, anyways, the way the ballot is written is somebody on the backside of that ballot, like Larry Elder, could get 18% of the vote and could become the next governor.
You're going to vote for the governor today?
We have until September 11th. I sent my ballot in until September 11th to vote to recall him. And right in the middle of the recall, it's really tricky that you don't have to get 50% and you could become the governor. It's really jacked up the way it is. Yeah. It's
don't
crazy,
have to get 50%.
you know? No. It's really because there's so many people on there. It's not like you vote and then you do a primary and then you go and then they vote. It's not, it's just real interesting. And so,
Katrina, I heard that the Republican guy that they're trying to run has no, right, exactly.
Has no what?
They said that, he has no political background. And that,
no experience.
At all. No experience. And
this is
record on women is not good.
Right. And they also said that even though California is heavy Democrat, so many Democrats don't even know. They don't even know that this recall is happening. And so that's why the governor is out in the streets talking, because he literally can be recalled. And the Democrats wake up and like, how did that happen? Because they didn't vote, because they didn't know.
And Uncle Joe was supposed to come, but he's kind of tied up. So, we were bringing in the big dogs, but the White House is tied up. So, and then
did they bring in the other big dogs? Wait,
yeah, they're going to bring in. They're going to bring in others. They're going to bring in others, but it's a big deal.
Stacey?
This is a big deal.
They're going to bring in Stacey?
I don't know that, but I would imagine. I just
want to know if they're going to bring in Stacey Abrams, because that would be a brand that she would be like going around from election to election like that. That would be quite an interesting situation. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Katrina. What were you going to say?
And then last, I'm just not trying to take all the news update, but just giving y'all an update on the fires, because literally now we are like, I'm in a circle now where the fire smoke is starting to show up. Not the fire itself, but the smoke. Last year, it got to the point that I could not breathe. And that's why we had all these purifiers in here. So it's just, 20 miles this way, 20 miles that way, where it gets to where there's no sun shining. It's just totally overcast. And then it gets sometimes actually dark.
In the daytime?
Crazy. Wow. Yeah. In the daytime.
Because 20 miles is not far. 20 miles is not far.
It just depends which way the wind blows. Which way the wind blows. Does it blow out to the ocean or does it come inland? And then does it drop into the valley like this? And it will drop into the valley and just literally sit there.
What's the
air quality?
I'm in a valley, but right now it's not blowing this way. And so, it's just,
what's the air quality?
I heard on the news this morning that they had like some astronomical number of people that were being evacuated. It was like a large number. Do you know the number? It was like a lot of people. Like a lot of people were being evacuated this morning.
I don't know the number. So
it was a lot.
But that's a lot. It's a lot going on.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's just right in your neighborhood, in your state. We haven't even talked about the world. Who's gonna go next? Let's go on down to North Kakalaki. Go ahead down to North Kakalaki. While she's in North Kakalaki, we got to make a big deal out of her being in North Kakalaki while she's there. Sabrina Goodwin Monday. What's happening, girlfriend? What's going on?
Everything. Well, the biggest news I know is J-Lo and A-Rod. And, they broke up recently, but she they broke up a few months back. J-Lo and A-Rod, huge.
But she's with the other guy though.
Ben Affleck. So now she's back with Ben Affleck. But the thing is though, just the other day, she unfollowed him and scrubbed her social media. Every picture she had with A-Rod, she deleted. I mean, it's dang, she really mad. I mean, really mad. And so he was recently interviewed, and he said that, he's just trying to go on with his life. He basically said, I'm not mad. My girls and I think he has girls 14 and 16. They were very close to J-Lo. They lived in the house with J-Lo. They were one big happy family for 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so he said it's an adjustment.
Really don't know
it's
that.
an adjustment, life after J-Lo. But he said he was shocked to see that she was back with A-Flack. Like a month after they broke up, she was seen with him. I was like, she ain't messing around. J-Lo don't play. J-Lo does not play, okay? So that's go ahead. Hollywood.
If you listen to all her songs, a lot of the theme in her song is about right now. You ain't got no time to wait. You got no time to wait. I mean, a lot of her songs are like, so I can imagine she's into the present. So she erased the past to get to the present. I didn't even know. I'm trying to catch up.
But I think one of the things that is kind of sad about that, especially, is when you have children involved, because I know for many single women that I know I've talked to that either got divorced or their husband died, they were very careful not to introduce men to their children, especially, if they weren't serious. They just felt like, no, because if things don't work out, I don't want my kids to get attached. And then all of a sudden, he goes his way and mom goes her way, and now they have no more relationships. So I think, that really is kind of sad that, he said his girls were really attached to her, and all of a sudden it's totally cut off. And so, children, depending on their age, they don't know sometimes how to reconcile that. So you might think, well, it's not her real mother, but still, I mean, sometimes kids can think they're the cause of it, and so on and so forth. That's another show. But I just think, they lose a lot of times when relationships like that have been all out in the public, and you've been in my house, I've been living with you, you've been living with me, and then it comes to a screeching halt. Yeah, I think that's sad for the children.
That's a big deal. It's a big deal. And it's, what's interesting is when they're celebrities, we hear about it, but it's the person next door. It's the person across the street. It's blended families everywhere. I mean, this is just so much of our culture right now that we have to deal with. That is definitely a show. Definitely a show. And we got Messy Regina over here. Look, Messy Regina Oliver talking about she'll be doing it to Diddy next.
Okay, she ain't never happy. Ain't never happy. And Mike said she hasn't kicked it. DJ Mike said she hasn't kicked it with another brother since Diddy. Okay.
Okay, so Michael and Regina. I wonder who's head of the Messy Club. I ain't gonna say no names. What's going on in Detroit? What's going on in Detroit, Chris? What's going on?
You know what? Detroit is great. The other day, you guys, I took my dad and we both went and got tested for COVID. My sister is going to have him this weekend, and they're going to Canada. And even though both of them has been vaccinated, you can't get over to Canada. You cannot cross the border unless you have a COVID test 72 hours before going over there that says negative. So I had to go take my dad, and I said, hey, since he's getting one, I might as well do it as well. And it was kind of interesting. It wasn't the rapid test. It was the PCR or something like that test. But what was interesting is they had us do it ourselves. And so, yeah, I know, right? So pulled up to the CVS, and, we had to register online and all of that. Pulled up. She gave me the package and told me how to do it. So I had to swab my dad, tears running down his eyes. I was like, oh, Lord.
Yeah. Courage, baby. You got courage.
The sister, when I went in Chicago, the sister said they got folks swabbing themselves, and I promise you they'll never go back as far as we'll go. And she said some people are positive because they're not going back far enough.
Oh my God!
She's
I can't.
like,
wow. Somebody has to.
Well, I mean, ain't nobody doing that to themselves. That's crazy.
I did myself, and I tried to go back, far. I did my dad, but when he was like, his face was grimacing. I said, oh, let me stop. So. It's just interesting. So many places do it so many different ways. So I'll know something either later today or tomorrow. So it's going to be interesting. I've been around a lot of different places with a lot of different people. You know, I've had my mask on. Some of the places I've gone to have been totally with people that are vaccinated, but then, you know, went to the festival and there's a ton of people out there. So it's just going to be interesting to see what comes back. So, yeah. So that's
who's ready for the third shot? Who's ready for the third shot? Anybody ready for the third booster? Who's ready?
I'm gonna get it when it's time to get it. I'm like this, like this. Here go here, right there. Right here. Thank you, Jesus. Give it a shot. But look, y'all, we got some callers, and we'll come back to that in a second. Marathon, are you there? Are you there, Marathon? Welcome to We Got Issues. Welcome.
Yeah. I'm here, sister, with not problems, issues. I'm sorry.
Sister, rename the show.
I get mixed up, ladies. Listen, I got a question for you all. Okay. Why women don't like to dance with men no more?
What? Why women don't like to dance?
Women don't like to dance with men. Let me tell you what they do. I'll be on the dance floor just getting down, baby. They love my moves in Detroit. I'll be at the comfort zone just getting down. They looking at me like they're at Henry's Palace, looking at an exotic dancer.
Wow.
Then when I ask them to dance, they say no, but they professional feet dancers. They just dance in their feet. But when the hustle song come on, all the ladies get up. What's up with that?
Okay, so Marathon, you're going to have to join us for the friendship so that you can tell us what show we're going to talk about. But since Katrina was bopping to the music, Katrina, what do you think about what Marathon just said?
I don't know. I think sometimes they get shy. I think they get shy sometimes, Marathon. I just think so. I don't know.
Down in their chairs, they don't never get up.
Hey, Marathon.
Okay, so
I mean, get the real stuff.
Marathon, that's the new wallflower. They sit in the chair and you know, they're comfortable there. And you know what, sometimes, you know, it just takes one person to have the courage to get up and start it. And maybe, you know, they just don't want to be the first one to, you know, to get out there on the floor.
Wait a minute. I danced from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. straight on the dance floor. Nobody got out there with me.
What? Was it your outfit? Marathon, what did you have on? What did you have on, Marathon? Was it your outfit?
They could not handle the marathon man.
Okay. Marathon, we're glad that you called in, and we want you to call in all the time, Marathon, because if you don't do nothing else, you make us laugh. And people love to hear us laugh. So Marathon, that's a good topic, though. Why you don't dance when Marathon's on the floor? I'm going to give that to her. That's the next topic.
Give me some respect.
Okay, Marathon, we take it. We'll take you here because we got issues and you got problems. Okay, we got it. Okay, we got it.
Are you there on the show? We got issues. Welcome, Victor. We got issues.
Victor, we got issues.
Yes, you sound like you're having a lot of fun, the whole group. Now, you got me when you started talking about the information.
Yeah.
That caught my attention today.
Okay, tell us.
Because there is the subject that we need to become more acquainted with. You mentioned about the privacy of data. That's a big one, but it's not as big as use. Use of data is the real. Right? That's the one that most of us don't even recognize, that we've made $1 million business off our own information, and we're not getting anything. Okay? We're not getting any donations for the information. There are myriad of examples where they're using our information with artificial intelligence and refeeding it. And, you know, I'm just saying, the key appears to be if we can create enough leverage, right, with other people to be able to make them more responsive. When they take our information at the cancer center, when they write our prescriptions and they use it and they find out what's going on, what it's like, and they tailor commercials and ads to our laptops and phones or to our areas. You know, I mean, they're using data that comes from us. And not only are we if we not tax them. In many cases, the tools that they're using for this, the public finance, the internet was pretty much funded by the military, right? That's where it came from. And, here we're getting nothing for our data. And I think part of how we, brand it and change it is by deleveraging the value of ill-gotten information. In other words, if you get information firsthand from cooperative willing participants, let that data be worth more than data that can't be validated in terms of the source. I just wanted to raise it up. I know that's a kind of a big subject. No, I'm telling you. But it's I hate to see it happen the way that it does, because when these guys show up to Congress a couple of years ago, I could really see just how these politicians were out of the technical loop. They didn't understand formula. They didn't understand. Hey, Rick, we got to go to commercial break. Your people had contributed. And Rick, we have to go to a commercial break right quick. They're playing the music. We're going to come back to 9:10 a.m. the Superstation, and we're going to talk about this, because Rick, you brought up a very important topic, which is a part of this.
You brought that to light. We got to come right back to We Got Issues at 9:10 a.m. the Superstation. We'll see you guys in just a second. We'll be right back.
Hey, you guys. I am talking to y'all on the commercial. I mean, I do not know. Maybe it's the fires that has me frozen. Maybe that's what it is. But y'all can hear me, right? Y'all can hear me. I'm excited to share about
I think we should go to
talk to you guys. This is really a good topic. This is really a good topic today. Has anyone had their data breached?
Okay. All right.
You've been listening. You know that this just recently happened to Anthony and I. And so who had their data breached? I mean, it's just so riveting. It's terrible. And so have you had it? Are you more concerned about online shopping? Are you more concerned about when you are in the
okay.
More concerned about like when you're in a restaurant? When you're in a restaurant in Europe, they don't take your credit card away. Has anybody been to a restaurant in Europe? They or even most other countries, they bring the credit card machine to you. But here, they take your credit card. We hand our credit card to people all the time. Now there's a lot of stores that just bring it in. I have the one that's the chip that's supposed to work. But I'm telling you, I don't care what they do. People are stealing their data, and it's not just online. I think we used to always think it was coming through online, but they're stealing it so many different ways. So, Jamar, how long ago was it for you, and are you still dealing with it, or were you able to get that fixed? So, all right, we have a couple more minutes on the commercial break. It's a horrible feeling. Yeah, still recovering and rebuilding. Anybody using LifeLock? I'm sure we'll talk about that. And did that help you? Did anybody have LifeLock before you had it taken, and did it help? As you go through and you start calling all those people, you just really realize, in our case, it was Anthony's passport. The credit cards we replaced quickly. And even just yesterday, we got paid by the insurance. But that passport thing, no joke. So we're coming back.
All right, the red bottoms. Let's go head on to the red bottom shoes. I heard it. We're back. The Force of Friendship is with you, and we're excited to be with you on this Wisdom Wednesday, as I'm calling it. I'm so excited, you guys. That was so good. Rick brought up a great topic where he talks about the use of our data, not just that it's stolen, but it is sort of stolen from us because they use it and they use it with us. But we got a couple callers. So let's go to the lines. Charles, are you still with us on the line? Are you there?
Yes, I am here, and I appreciate you taking my call. And I'm excited. It's beautiful when the ladies get out there on the dance floor And to my man, my brother that called earlier, Ron, hey man, you got to learn how to do the cabbage patch, man. And get you some flip flops and t-shirts and I am the man. And don't forget your fro, man. You know what I'm saying? But everything's cool, man. Don't worry about it.
Okay, well, I'm excited that you brought it.
Take your partner with you, man. Take your partner with you if don't nobody want to dance with your young man. You'll be all right.
That's it.
Love y'all. Y'all be cool.
And thank you, Charles. Thank you so much. Because you're truly letting everybody know, Gloria, you don't have a handle on this show at all.
I'm good with it. Now you got to bring your flip flop and the Cabbage Patch. We don't even have to ask him what year he's born. If he's talking about the Cabbage Patch, OMG. We're not even going to ask. Erica, are you with us? Erica? I wonder if she's still with us.
Oh, you are. Okay, Erica, hi. Welcome to We Got Issues. We're so glad that you called in.
Oh, wow. Good day, everyone. I think this is such a critical topic.
Yeah.
Because back in early 90s, I was an IT major. That was my undergrad.
Yeah.
But now, when I'm seeing how all of our data is being compromised on things that we think are secure. And so, with me, I want to know, how can I secure myself at the very, very basic level? If I'm just using my regular cell phone, my regular tablet, or my regular laptop, how can I secure?
That's excellent, Erica. I got some facts for you, so I'm glad that you brought that up.
Erica, you can hang on with us or call back in if you have some information, but I'm so glad we don't have a guest tonight, so we're just talking. And so to have that information where you're coming from an IT specialist, I know before I started my current career, I used to sell computers for IBM. And back then, 30 some years ago, they were talking about data and how to protect the data. But it's so much more prevalent right now. So Erica, we're going to go into the ways in which you can protect your data. Let me talk a little bit about the breach. Thank you, Erica. We appreciate you calling in to We Got Issues. Thank you so much for lending your voice. I appreciate it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, let's talk about it, you guys. A data breach. Let's talk about what is the definition. A data breach is an incident where information is stolen or taken from a system without the knowledge or authorization of the system's owner. A small company or a large company may suffer a data breach. Stolen data may involve sensitive, proprietary, or confidential information, such as credit card numbers, customer data, trade secrets, or matter of national security. And you guys, I'm just so interested in the fact that today we would talk about this because today my phone rang and today they said they were Amazon and they were calling to see if I had made a $700 purchase for an iPhone. And I immediately hung up the phone because there was a time, maybe a year ago, we were still in the pandemic, and I answered the call and 2 iPhones showed up at my front door and I had to get them removed. It was $1,400 with the iPhones that they had put on my credit card. So I had to go through. It wasn't as hard as some people have struggled, but this is real. You guys, the reason this is so relevant is yesterday, T-Mobile says data on 40 million people stolen by hackers. 40 million people's data was stolen by T-Mobile. And this is kicker. T-Mobile didn't say anything about it. The news picked it up. The news picked it up and told everybody. Said on Wednesday, an investigation into data breach revealed that personal data, including social security numbers and driver's license information of more than 40 million former and prospective customers were stolen. The stolen files also included data from 7.8 million existing T-Mobile wireless customers. So whether you had the phone or whether you have their Wi-Fi, whatever, they're getting your data. It's the latest. T-Mobile's data breach is the latest high-profile cyber attacks as digital thieves take advantage of security weakened by work-from-home policies due to COVID-19 pandemic. Now, I didn't even know about that. Katrina's nodding her head. I didn't know that it has been weakened by the people that are working at home. Early this month, cryptocurrency platform Poly Network lost $610 million in a hack and offered the hacker or hackers $500,000 for bug bounty, whatever that means. And then they said T-Mobile did not announce the leak first. Should companies be required to share information about leaks or keep us in the dark? What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Should they tell us or keep us? Go ahead, Sabrina.
Now, the 10 biggest data breaches of the 21st century. Listen to these numbers. Yahoo, 3 billion accounts. Okay?
Wow.
Yahoo. Alibaba, 1.1 billion accounts. LinkedIn, 700 million accounts.
LinkedIn?
Yes. Facebook, 533 million. The Marriott Hotel, 500 million. Yahoo, 500 million. Adult Friend Finder, 412 million. MySpace, 360 million. NetEase, I didn't even know what NetEase was. It's a mailbox service, 235 million. So the bottom line is, all of these big companies, there's a breach. I get so many of these letters in the mail, but then I don't know what to do with them. I don't know who to call. I don't know how I'm affected. But it happens to all of us at some point, and I'm tuning into this show to get some information myself. Okay,
but you know what?
They should have to tell you in plain English, because sometimes you
right.
log into your Verizon account and it scrolls real fine print at the bottom. I mean, that's not letting me know. We sent you a letter. You know, it's like no. And you have my phone number, Verizon. Call me and tell me.
Right.
According to Forbes magazine, cyber attacks stealing people's data information has increased by 600%. 600% since the pandemic. And one of the things that they suggest, if you don't know whether or not your data has been compromised, you have to start by searching your email or phone number. So you literally, we all probably need to do that so that we can just see what's out there that's showing of our personal information. And they said one of the places that you can go is go to the search engine. Have I been PWNED? Again, have I been PW as in William, N as in Nancy, E as in Edward, and D as in David. So that's a search engine where you can go just to see what of your information is out there.
Wow.
But then you guys, but also what you can't trust. How about I got something from Chase Bank the other day that said they needed some more information. It was not even Chase Bank. It looked so official. I was just about to put some information and something didn't feel right. I called Chase. They said, never send anything like that to you in the mail. Right. So, yes. So
that's such a big deal. That's such a big deal because they make it look so beautiful. They make it look so good. And let me just say this, Katrina, that AT&T, when I took those phones back, they too said we would never do that. We would never ask you for information. We will never ask you for your phone number. They wouldn't. So if anybody ever asks you something, don't answer because they would never ask you. And then Phyllis just put that word there. What's that word mean? Pushing. Phishing.
Phishing. You know, Phyllis, call in and explain phishing. My limited explanation of it is that when you're is it when you're scrolling on the web, they can come behind you and see what you're doing. I think that's what phishing is, because your information ends up on the dark web. It ends up on the dark web.
Okay.
Phishing. Okay. Phyllis, call in and explain it to us.
Yeah. Let me just say this. T-Mobile said it offered 2 years of free credit monitoring to affected customers. But unfortunately, I don't think that's enough. So we have the question of, should they tell us or shouldn't they tell us? Then if it happens to them, what can they do to make a customer feel better about what's happened because they've made such a big mistake? You guys, one of the things I thought was interesting is when a company loses that information, how does it affect the customer's loyalty? How does it affect loyalty? And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 down. Listen to this, you guys. Number one, people don't like it when you're lying about the product, the way the product is supposed to perform. That's the first reason that they'll leave you. The second thing is poor treatment of the employees. If they hear that a company is treating their employees poorly, they will leave.
Right.
Number 3, product failures and recalls. If you get recall, you're not gonna go. If you recall the chicken, you're not gonna buy chicken from Purdue Chicken. What better not say Purdue? That's they ain't gonna eat your chicken anymore. Making excessive profits from customers. They don't like you to make excessive profit from customers unless you're Apple. Okay, Apple be making a ton of money. I'm still gonna buy Apple. Okay, whatever. Then the next one is poor environment records and pollution. So if they're poor with the environment, they're gonna leave you, and then they're gonna leave you if you lose their data. Then they're gonna leave you if you lose your data. So it's a lot that will make it. Then they said the younger consumers are more likely to have changed products because of data loss. So if you're more senior and they take your product, your data, you stay with them. If you're younger, you're going to leave. So I thought that was quite interesting how they're doing it. I also
Gloria,
yeah.
A Pew PEW research study found that 64% of Americans have personally experienced their information being involved in a data breach. And and has
64%.
64% of Americans, which means that as much as we're out there, all of our information has been breached. Let's just be clear.
Right. And we don't even know.
It's going to get to the point, honestly, that it's like, for how much longer is the Social Security number going to work? I just was watching something about medical, the direction of medical in the next 10 years, maybe 5 years. You will no longer, let's just say they need a sample, a specimen that normally you go to the hospital and you have a specimen. You'll be able to be in your own bathroom and the doctor will be able to get any specimen he needs to get from you and it will go to him. I mean, think about what that means for your data to be breached when it has to do with your medical record and you being misprescribed or the wrong medication or your medical information being out there. I mean, it's just everything revolves around that Social Security number. And if somebody can just hack into it, it's just a problem. 64% is a problem.
Okay, so Katrina, you're bringing up a very important point, which is if our baseline of what we've used to identify ourselves has been the Social Security, that as this digital landscape changes, what are we going to change to? You know, going through Clear and they're seeing your eyes and the retina, exactly, your eyes, your fingertips. We have a caller. Let's go to our phone lines. Tia, are you there? Are you there as a caller? You called in to We Got Issues. And guess what, Tia? We're so appreciative of the fact that you called in. Tia, what do you got to say to the voice?
I am so glad that you all are appreciative that I called in. How are you?
Good.
So I'm so glad you brought this topic up because this is what I went to college and grad school for. All of this craziness, it's craziness. It's called information assurance, is what I have my master's in. But I wanted to address what you guys talked about, and we were talking about phishing. Yeah. So phishing, PHISISING, is when you get an email from what looks like an official source, and they're trying to get you to get to their website. And then once you get to their website, they mask it, and then they try to social engineer information out of you. And I'm going to give you an example. This happened so long ago, and I'm going to tell you when it happened. With the LinkedIn data breach, my data was breached on LinkedIn, and I'm out there making professional, connections and joining all of these different clubs, IT clubs. My data was breached. And it was a major breach. Everything they got off of me. And so I got an email from a bank. It looked like a bank. And when I said they did a fantastic job, with the logos and everything. Right. Now, this is how I figured out, only because I knew from school, about the phishing. Whenever you get an email, you have the top where the email is coming from. They'll change the name and say, this is Chase Bank. And then the second part says, your email address. Right underneath there, it says
details. If you click that details, it'll open up that email and you can see the real email address. That real email address, if it comes from Chase Bank, it may say chasebank.com, blah, blah, blah. My email that came from this bank said blah, 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 at AOL.com. And I knew it wasn't from Chase Bank.
Right.
So then what I did was I called Chase Bank and I asked them for their IT department or for their data breach and security department. And then they gave me the number. I called, and then Chase actually sent me an official email where I could forward that email to them because they track that. So the phishing is when somebody sends you an email and they're trying to get you to get on their website, so then they can social engineer you. In other words, they can say, "Oh well, we noticed that somebody hacked your account. We need you to put in your account number and your name and put in the last four of your social security number so we can address the issue." That right there, that's phishing.
Wow.
Yeah. And so there's been massive data breaches. I've had my data breach many times, and I'm going to tell you the steps that I took. When my data got breached with LinkedIn, and then my data got breached shortly after that with some company, I can't even remember, but this company provided services for financing for a car. Because I had my car financed. Right. Somebody got my social security number. And so when my data was breached, I also got the services where you can get the credit monitoring for like 3 or 4 years. Well, what ended up happening was when they breached my data, they didn't hit my social security number right away. It was 5 years later. And then somebody tried to purchase a house in Texas. I was in Michigan.
What?
Somebody tried to purchase a house in Texas. Yep, they filled out a mortgage application. As soon as they ran my credit, my social security number, bam, that alarm went off and it sent me a thing and said, "Is this you trying to apply for credit?" And I said, "Oh, God." It was in Texas. It had the address and everything. So I had to do a credit freeze. I completely all 3 of the credit reports. Then you have to report it to the FTC that somebody stole your social security number. Then I had to call the IRS because it was Lord. So I had to file my taxes. If you want to make certain that somebody has your social security number, if they don't file fraudulent taxes in your name and then get back refunds that they're not supposed to get.
Right.
So you have to file that with the IRS and make the IRS aware my social security number has been stolen, and so they have to flag it. So when you file your taxes, and then you also have to fill out a statement and everything like that with social security. And then I had to file a police report in Detroit. If somebody, stole my social security number, it was a process. But I still to this day have a good bond. So if I get credit and they call me and say, "Oh, you know what? We noticed that you have a freeze on." "Oh, okay." So then I go online. We get a passcode. You better keep it because that passcode is just like Bitcoin passcode. You really forget. Put that passcode in and take it off and put it back on. So I'm so glad that you ladies had this topic. This is
my goodness. Oh my God, Tia, that was awesome. That was a valuable call, Tia. Thank you so much. Number one, I didn't know you could get a degree. I didn't know. Thank you so much, Tia. I didn't know you could get a degree.
I never heard of information assurance, and just listening to this tells you how much of a need it is for people, because so many times people are trying to find out what to get their next degree. What's the next big hottest thing? So Tia, we're so glad that you called in. Let me tell y'all something right now. For those of you who are listening to 910 AM, the Superstation, we got issues. We are guaranteed to make you smarter. I promise you, the 4 of us are so much smarter than we were when we started this show. I have learned so much about different things that I had no clue about. So I'm so glad that you guys are tuning in. You guys, let's go to the 7 ways that you can make sure you protect your personal data, because Tia just showed us what can happen if you don't do that. Okay, so number 1, it says change your passwords. Change your passwords. It's a good idea to keep changing your passwords on a regular basis. But in the aftermath of a data breach, It's especially important to change your password to something strong, secure, and unique. Now, we have to have a conversation about that because every time you ask for password, it always comes out like, do you want to use this password? And I look at that long 25 carat characters, and I'm like, I will never remember all of that. Like, I have never said yes. And so I have to stop using that little simple thing. One time I was in the kitchen and somebody asked somebody for my password, and Juliana told them what my password was. I was like, how you know my password? When your kids know your password, that's the problem. Fortunately, I have a password for little sites, like, you know, the little sites, and then I have my other passwords. But it says, do not use the same passwords for all your online accounts. In general, a strong password is at least 8 characters with a mixture of letters, numbers, and symbols. Consider using a password manager to help generate and keep track of your passwords. Now, Katrina, you talked about that the other day.
Right.
When we talked about the computer loss, right? So which one do you use, Miss Technology?
Well, the system I was using before, I'm going to use a different password manager. And actually, if there's somebody out in Facebook world who wants to recommend the best one, I'm actually researching to figure out which one I'm going to use, and I haven't decided yet. So
why did you decide to change?
Because of the way it was breached. Because when Anthony's iPad was stolen, it wasn't the password system we were using. If you had access into his iPad, you had access into that. So I'm going to another system. And even on Dropbox, something else that we use, those of you that use Dropbox, there's something called Vault, VAULT in Dropbox. And I've started to use that because I was keeping everything in Dropbox. And so now you can keep certain things in the vault of your Dropbox. And that vault is like she said, if you lose that password, you've lost it. It is like a safe deposit box. You can put stuff in the vault and no one has access to it unless they have your vault password. They can't search it. They can't see it. So I really like that. I don't know if Google Drive knows that, but because Anthony's Social Security number was taken, he had to get the PIN number from the IRS, which is what our caller was talking about. And once you get that PIN number, you get a new PIN number every year, and you will need a PIN number for the rest of your life, they say. So even the spouse needs to know that PIN number, because if your spouse was deceased and you needed to do something with their taxes, if you don't have that PIN number, you can't do anything with the IRS with them. So
that's so
interesting. I'm looking for a password manager. Which one is the best? I don't know yet.
Well, somebody was saying, I've heard this several times, that 1Password is really good. And you notice I didn't ask Sabrina or Chrisette. We don't talk about that technology stuff, but maybe after they listen to We Got Issues today, maybe the three of us will get some password protection. Okay. Number 2, the second way. What?
No, go ahead. I want to tell you, Kiera got her data was breached as well. So I'll tell you about it. Go ahead and finish it, and I'll tell you about how hers got breached.
Okay, so the second way to do it is to sign up for 2-factor authentication. How you say that? Authentication. Yeah.
Good job, Gloria. Good job.
Oh my goodness. My next show was going to be on dyslexic, but I couldn't find a specialist other than myself. However, in addition to changing your password, sign up for 2-factor A-word. 2-factor is 2FA, the A word, 2-step verification. Number 3, check for updates from the company. If your data is involved in a major data breach, the company will likely post ongoing updates and disclosures from which the customers were affected. Number 4, watch your accounts and check your credit reports. They said that after a breach, it's essential to be vigilant. After a data breach, it's essential to be vigilant and pay extra attention to your activities. To watch your credit card statements, because it will definitely make a difference. Number 5, consider identity theft protection services. Now, I didn't know about this, but you want additional peace of mind? You can consider signing up for identity theft protection service. Number 6, and she talked about this, freeze your credit. I thought this was so interesting, and Tia just talked about it. Another step you can take, whether you're affected by a data breach or not is to freeze your credit. Easy. They said you can go to contact each of the 3 credit bureaus, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. Experian and TransUnion, and ask them to freeze your credit. That way, no one can use your credit. No one can open up any new credit. No one can do anything. And the only downfall, they say, is that when you want to open up a new card, you have to call them first to unfreeze your credit. And you can unfreeze your credit anytime you want to. So you can unfreeze it, freeze it, unfreeze it, freeze it. And then number 7 is to go to identitytheft.gov. If you're affected by a data breach, there is a government website that can help you access the situation and understand your options for what to do next. Now, this is very important because if something happens to you, you have to know what to do first. And identitytheft.gov is set up to help you protect your personal information that was lost or stolen. Being affected by a data breach can be alarming, and one of the worst case scenarios, it can lead to identity theft and financial complications. So those are the 7 steps that we can all take to become more vigilant about our data. Chris, you want to tell us about Kiera's situation?
Yeah. So, probably about 5 months ago, right in the middle, when everything was going on with the pandemic, Kiera got a phone call from somewhere, I think it was in North Carolina, and they were calling her about her credit because they were getting ready to sell a car to her. And she's like, huh? I'm not at the dealership. I don't live in North Carolina. I live in Michigan. And the guy was like, wow, there's somebody in the dealership right now trying to purchase a car in your name. And so evidently the girl that was there saw him on the phone and probably figured out that he was contacting somebody. And when he went out to confront her, she ran out the door, jumped in the car, and was gone. So, Kiera was really excited because she's like, whoo, I'm glad that he didn't, sell it to her. Well, a couple of weeks later or a month later, she went to another dealership. And I don't know if they were as vigilant as that one, but they processed everything. And that individual was able to purchase a car in Kiera's name. And literally, she had to jump through so many hoops to get her credit fixed. So, it is no joke. It's almost like it's very frustrating because you fax stuff in, you send them this, and then they say they didn't get it, then you got to do it again. It can almost feel like a full-time job when you're trying to, take care of that and, undo all the damage that was done. So I just remember watching her. She had to get a police report. I think Tia mentioned that, she had to get something from the dealership. It was a lot of steps that she had to go through in order to get that off of her credit. And so thank the Lord, she was able to get it situated, but it was months. It didn't happen overnight. It took months before she was able to get it together.
Yeah, they talk about the fact that the person who's attacked has to suffer through so much with little support, and that you have to be vigilant for yourself because no one else is going to protect you. So that was really smart of her to stay on it like that. They said, what is digital security? In a nutshell, digital security means protecting your computer, mobile devices, tablets, and any other internet connected devices from intruders, which could be in the form of hacking, phishing, and more. So they said that the virtual private networks uses encryption to protect yourself. And I guess what they're trying to say here is that because we have all gotten home, and because what used to be very well protected, it is not. The biggest data breach to hit the United States retailer was Target. It reported hackers stole up to 40 million credit and debit cards. 40 million debit and credit cards of the shoppers. And it happened in the 2013 holiday season. Target also said the total cost of the breach has been $202 million. So you guys remember right after that is when they came out with the chip on the credit card, because there wasn't a chip before that. The chip came out, the chip goes in. Now you just hit it like this. Now, I don't know about you guys, but 9 times out of 10, I go in the grocery store, all I have is my phone. I don't need a wallet. They don't want to take any cash anymore. I just go with my phone and pay everything, almost everything like that. It says, internet surveillance, it's what's next. Your computer, your online activity, your online and offline data, your internet traffic is being monitored and logged by government agencies. So there's a lot that's going on that's serious. Katrina, you had something?
I'm going to read some of the comments from Facebook, but just today, I spent 2 hours on the phone with HP because my scanner wasn't working. And just to fix my scanner and get it to go back to my email, it took 2 hours to do it. And I'm telling you, the reason it did is because there's so many security breaches I had to go through to prove who I was to get my scanner to talk to my email. And I'm just like, now, you know, girlfriends, if it makes my head hurt, I'm like, most people, you just get the stuff and you're not going to use half the stuff on your car. You're not going to use half the stuff because it's so complicated, and it's all because of the data breaches that they have to have this. I love what Bessa says. She says so many parents are sleeping on their kids. This is so important. I'm about to call my grandkids, all the parents, that you freeze your kids' credit. I mean, kids don't need credit, right? So I think every parent should freeze their kids' credit. And I'm just going to add in the seniors too, you know, seniors just go on and freeze their credit as well, because they're big. Bessa also says Credit Karma will tell you any breaches that may have been involved in. Credit Karma is free and has a great app. I love that Gloria Lewis told us that Apple is putting a password manager in their next iOS release.
Really?
And so that's good to know. And Phyllis said that you can send those emails to phishing@chase.com, PHISHING for my the 60 plus folks. Don't put the F in there. So, you know, there's just so much good stuff coming in through Facebook too, Gloria.
Yeah, it's so much good. I'm gonna give you guys this really quick low tech tips to protect your privacy online. Everybody can take one. Don't post identifying details on public sites. Don't do it like, you know, tagging your photos. If it has your car license plate, don't do it. Use search engines that don't track your personal data, like DuckDuckGo is a search engine that you can use. DuckDuckGo. Turn off the locations on your phone when you're not needing them. Like, we leave the locations on all the time. They say turn them off. Organize against surveillance. So be careful about organized surveillance. Place a sticker over, listen to this one, y'all. Place a sticker over your computer's camera to prevent hackers from taking a picture of you. Don't use cloud backup, Google Calendar, or webmail, and configure your browser to delete your cookies. Okay, so don't be laughing at my reading, because now it is over. We're done today, and we're so excited that tomorrow we will be right here, 9:10 a.m., the Superstation. We got issues. You're with the Force of Friendship. We're so glad you cooked on with our tribe. We're so excited that you're becoming smarter with all of us as we check out WFDF out of Detroit, 9:10 a.m., the Superstation. We got issues, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Ooh, great topic. Great topic.
Dang, that was good, Gloria. That was really
informative.
Girl,
we all got a to-do list. Okay.
That was good, y'all. We're so glad we're getting smarter together. We're getting smarter together. What are you gonna say, Chris?
I was gonna say we should have got Tia's information. She would have been a great guest.
Right? Yes. Tia's still watching. She's still watching. If you're on Facebook, Tia, contact us on our website.
We need to hit that a couple more times. We're looking for all the guests. You guys out there in Facebook, you guys know some experts at different things, and we want to know who they are, because if you bring on experts, it makes the topics get even broader, so we can all get smarter together. Okay, we'll talk to you later, Facebook. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye.